Welcome back to the video series on an introduction to Solochain. Today, we are going to be looking at user security management. User security begins at the login screen. Each user has a specific username and password. This gives them a unique identifier so the actions of each user can be tracked in the system. Their username and password are also tied to a specific role. The role that the user is assigned is extremely configurable and limits what the user can see and interact with on the desktop and handheld devices. When I sign in, my assigned role will be as a system configurator, which gives me access to the entire system on both desktop and handheld devices. At the top of the screen, you can see 8 tabs that include things like warehousing, manufacturing, and billing. I also have a large list of options on the handheld device. Someone with a different role, like a warehouse picker, will not get to see these options, so they will not appear when the user signs in. If we go to the UI diagram, we can show this visually with the flowchart. To get there, I open up the model menu, go to the UI tab, and select UI diagram. Right now it shows what I have access to, but if we change the role to picker, we can see everything but Solochain becomes unavailable. And within Solochain, things are further limited. If you look at inventory, for example, you can see a box in front of it. That box will either be empty, have a check mark, a black square, or an eye. An empty box means that category is not available to the user and will not appear on their screen. A check mark means the user has complete access to the category. A black square identifies a category that has been customized for the role and may include or exclude anything. Finally, the eye symbol shows a page that is only viewable and the user may not make any changes to. If we compare that to a warehouse manager, you can see a large difference in what the roles give access to. Roles such as picker or warehouse manager can be preset so any new user may quickly be added, and a new role may be generated at any time to customize the access of a unique user. To create an account for an already existing role, I can go to Security and select Users under the configuration header. From there, we can make a new user. If I wanted to create a new picker, I would first go to Create a User, then choose Solochain WMS User under Type. Give them a username, first and last name, select Picker under Roles. I could also choose a time zone and a language, and then submit. Now I can select the user and issue credentials, so that when they first log in, the new user must create their own password. To do this, I click the Action button, choose Add Credentials, and create a generic password. This will automatically limit the user when they first log in to create their own password. Following that, the user has access to Solochain. It is also possible to add roles to an already existing user. If I choose the Roles tab, you can see the picker only has access to a single role. However, I can simply add a role, such as Receiver, and allow that user to see multiple user roles in the web browser and handheld devices. Now let's say that I want to generate a new user with the same access as the user I just created, since he has been configured perfectly. I can simply copy that user. To do this, I select the Copy button, choose the person I wish to copy, and follow the same steps as before. Another route to configuring a user is to generate a new role that can be perfectly customized to your needs. Using the same example as before, I can create a role that is a combination of picking and receiving. To do this, I open the Solochain menu, go to Utilities, Admin Tools, and select Roles. Here is a list of every current role in the system. To add a role, we simply select the Action button and select Create a Role. Then select a user type. I will be creating a WMS user role. I add the name and label, then describe the new role and submit. Now I can go back to the UI diagram that I showed earlier using a bookmark I created and completely customize the new role. First, I will pick the role and set Solochain to custom. Then I will remove billing and set inventory to custom. Following that, I will move deeper into inventory and set the next inventory tab to custom, and finish by setting the last inventory tab to view only. As you can see, by all the branches, every page in Solochain can be configured to match the needs of the user. When the configuration is complete, I can do a check by simulating the identity of any role. Since the role I just created isn't completed, I will use the standard picker role to simulate. As you can see, some of the 8 initial tabs are no longer available to this user. Not only are some missing, but the access to the remaining tabs has been limited. This configuration also applies to the handheld devices. The important features that I would like to highlight from this video are: first, each user has a unique username and defined role that allows for tracking user actions and limiting user access to certain areas of Solochain. Second, roles are completely configurable on both the desktop and handheld devices. Finally, users and roles can be easily created and assigned for both standard and unique users. That concludes the 5th part of our Introduction to Solochain video series. Thank you for watching, and from everyone at Generics, have a great day.